Ready, set, go. All right. So it's funny. I said let's just be natural, and then I make it sound not natural. But anyway, all right. So we're back. This is episode 3, and on this one, I kind of wanted to talk about what we were supposed to talk about in the second episode, and we ended up not doing that. But I kind of want to just talk about the beginning of our relationship. I kind of want to just talk about just where we were, how we met,
how it all started.
Pretty much. So I can say my backstory into it, and then you can say yours. And I mean, obviously, we're not gonna take forever,
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, so pretty much we met when we were 17. We met. I mean, technically, we knew each other. Not really knew each other, but we knew of each other.
Yeah.
Because we had
mutual friends, kind of.
That too. But I was gonna say we had that class together, that driving class.
Yeah.
Drivers.
The physical, not physical ed. Wow, I don't even remember what the name of that class is called.
Yeah, wasn't it? Or no?
Wasn't that?
Whatever.
It was one of those
but
combination classes.
Yeah, it was the first semester, or the first, is that what it's called, semester? Whatever, the first half of the year in high school, for that class, it was the geography stuff, and then the second half was sex ed and driver's ed.
Yeah.
And we had that class together. We just didn't know each other, or we didn't talk to each other, nothing like that. Oh, by the way, too, I think because it might be pretty obvious at this point, but we are doing this episode while driving. So if you hear stuff in the background, that's what it is.
And also, just in case there's some people who are just joining in, my name is Elise.
Oh yeah, and I'm Miguel.
And this is Holy Fire.
So, yeah, we kind of knew of each other. We'd seen each other in school, but it's one of those things where I just never, we just lived completely different lives, completely different social groups, a bunch, we knew one or two people that were the same, but that was pretty much it. We weren't friends, we weren't nothing like that, and I just never thought that, we would just be friends. It just never crossed my mind. Not in a bad thing. It just wasn't in my plus I was very antisocial, and I was very awkward, so I just never thought about stuff like that. But anyway, that's kind of how we knew of each other. We had classes together, and the one memory that I do have of you before we ever started talking or dating or whatever, I remember when you left the school, because I don't remember if it was the beginning of the year or the end of the year or something was happening, and I saw you.
It was beginning of junior year.
I saw you with your Tokay bag, and that too. I knew you were in some type of sports. I just didn't know what it was, but that because I knew you had that bag too and everything. So anyway, I saw you with some friends. And you guys were all sad and whatever. I was oh, she must be going somewhere. And that was the only thing that I do remember of you before ever talking or whatever. But me, I was in this place of, I was in a band. I was in a metal band, and that was pretty much my world at the time. As far as a social life, I didn't really have friends outside of these guys that I was in a band with, and even then we weren't the best of friends. I was always kind of just the odd man out, not because we didn't like each other. I don't know, I just had a very hard time bonding with people, and even back then I had a very I don't know, I always knew that there was something different about me, and I resented, well, I don't know who, but I just didn't like that. Grown-ups would always tell me things oh, you're so, I mean, they wouldn't tell me you're so special, but they would say things about me that would be oh, you're so special. And it made me feel weird. It made me feel man, I just want to have friends. I just want to be normal, And even when I would get invited to do things that, were bad kid stuff, I would always chicken out, and I would always feel I'm not supposed to, I can't, I remember one time, this was still before we met, there was a house party right around the corner from my house, and I was home, and I was supposed to be watching my two sisters, one who was a year younger, one who was 10 years younger, and I was 16 years old or something, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And I got invited to this thing, and they're dude, it's right down the street from your house, and this and that, and my mom was gone. And I remember I was looking at my sister, at the one who's a year younger, Gabby, and I was dude, please, man, like I want to go, like, and I just had this desire of like, dude, I just want to like do things that kids my age are doing. Like I just had that desire.
Yeah.
And like, I don't remember what she said, but she was like not approving of it. You know, she was like, I forgot exactly, but her attitude was very much like, dude, no, man. Like she just had this like, I don't know, but she wasn't gonna stop me either. And I just couldn't bring myself to do it. I was like, there's no way I could just leave my sisters here, because like I knew I was supposed to watch, especially the younger one. You know, she was six if I was 16. So, or maybe we were younger. I don't even remember. I was probably younger, to be honest. But anyway, you know, and I just couldn't bring myself to do it. It's like, man, like there's gonna be girls that I'm into there, and my friends and all of this, and I just couldn't, you know, and I kind of hated that about myself back then. Now I'm grateful, you know, that the Lord had protected me all those years, even though there were things that, you know, I still got myself into some stupid things, you know, but he protected me, I feel like, from a lot of things that could have happened in my life. So that was a big reason too why I didn't really have any friends, because I wouldn't go out and hang out. And my mom, you know, she would put rules on me, and at the time I didn't like it, but obviously, especially now, me being a parent, like I understand that, and I appreciate that, you know. But yeah, I just kind of lived in a bubble almost, you know. And but at the time I did have a girlfriend, and even that was very like superficial. And eventually, you know, we broke up, and it wasn't the greatest time in my life. And pretty much also found out that, I mean, it was never confirmed, because at that point I kind of didn't even care anymore, but I was pretty sure that she was cheating on me, because she had moved away and all of this. And I was dumb enough to think that, you know, I don't know, I was just very naive. And so I just kind of made this pact with myself, I guess you could say, that I just wasn't going to get into any relationships. I wasn't going to be dating any girls. My plan was just, you know what, I'm going to focus on this band. We're going to make it big, and that's all I care about.
I'll be a rock star.
I mean, pretty much, you know, like I was young, I was naive, and not to say making it in music is a dumb plan, but that's all I cared about. I didn't care about anything else. Not in like a nihilistic way where it's like nothing matters. Not so much that, but I just had nothing else in my life. Like that was the one thing. I mean, and if we're going to be real, I mean, this is a very, you know, real podcast. So other than that, I mean, I also did have a very big problem, you know, secret sin of like pornography. Like that was the two things that held my life. Those are the two things that was just the major things in my life. And but yeah, so I didn't care to get in any relationships. Like I had seen my friends, and they would have girlfriends and not have girlfriends, and all the drama and everything. And then what I went through with this girl, I was like, you know what, I don't want to deal with any of this. Like I was just so like, and that also plays into, or not plays into, but that also comes from a place of I had issues connecting with people, because now looking back I know this, but I would cut people off out of my life pretty much because I didn't want to get hurt, you know. I mean, growing up, you know, my parents divorced when I was 10 and all that, so I just had this attitude of like, if you don't care about me, I don't care about you, and we can part ways and I don't care, you know. I had that type of thing, and my attitude was very much, I don't care, you know, and it was really just to not allow people into my life.
It was just to protect yourself.
Pretty much.
You know, protect your heart.
So, that's kind of how I lived my life. And at that point, I was like, you know what, I don't want to deal with any girls. I'm just done. You know, I was pretty heartbroken over that one girl. And again, I was so naive. I was so dumb and young, and I mean, I know I'm saying that now because I look back and I'm 31 now, but back then it was a terrible time in my life. And really the only thing that I had going for me was the music thing. And you know, we were pretty good. You know, I wasn't just like, I'm not just saying that, but you know, we did have really good musicians, and I feel like we did have something really cool because where everybody was doing kind of the same thing, we were the ones that were standing out in a very unique way, I think. But regardless, even that started to fall apart eventually. But before that happened is when some random girl messaged me on Facebook. And I was like, and the first thing I thought of was that. I was like, dude, I don't want to get into a relationship with any girl. Like, I don't want to start dealing with this stuff again. I had just, like, I forgot how much time was in between the breakup and this girl messaging me, but it was still fresh in my mind. It was still fresh in, like, my emotions. And I'm like, I don't want to deal with all this crap again. I was just so, like, But me being the nice little boy that I was like, but I don't want to be rude and just ignore her either. So I took a little while and I responded. I don't even know what you said, because yes, that was Elise. I don't even know what you said. And the only reason why we were friends on Facebook is because I was in a band and the guys were like, dude, you need to have a Facebook account and we gotta like promote this thing. And I was like, dude, I don't want, this was like, I was so anti-social to the level where I didn't want social media and all this. And so the only reason I had it was because of the band. So one of the guitarists, he helped me make the account, and then he's basically going through all of his friends and saying like, yeah, this person's cool, and they like, you know, had me friend request them and just going down the list. And that's how I had a bunch of people on my Facebook account that I didn't really know them. I just kind of knew of them. I'd seen them in school, but he knew them because he was also like, I forgot what he did. I think he did football or something. I don't know. But he knew a bunch of these people. I didn't. But it's like, whatever, you know, if we're going to be posting about the music. And I actually never did. But anyway, that's how I had you, because you were friends with his girlfriend.
Yeah.
So that's how that was that connection there.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, all right, well, whatever. So I responded and we kind of talked back and forth. Nothing like it was just like random conversation. But I was like, okay, whatever. I don't even know what we talked about. I have like, the only thing I do remember is that somehow, because I'm such a weirdo, somewhere in there we ended up started talking about aliens. That's all I do remember. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I look back and I'm like, I'm so dumb. Yeah, that's the one thing I do remember. But I don't even know what about aliens we were talking about. But anyway, then we were just kind of, you know, messaging back and forth for a little bit. And then she goes, okay, well, I gotta go to this family dinner, so I gotta go. I'm assuming she was using her computer or something. And she goes,
no, it was my iPod, the little, you know, the ones that look like the iPhones and stuff. It was that. Yeah. And it was hooked up to my Wi-Fi.
So then she goes, but here's my phone number and we can keep texting. I'm like, all right, whatever. So then I texted the number, and turns out it was some random person. She said she was this mom who, like, she was like, oh, it's so funny, whatever. So I'm like, okay, whatever. So then I was like, dang. I was like, all right. Like, I was kind of confused because, like, at this point I had no feelings. I barely even knew her. So I'm like, why would this girl reach out to me, message me, and then give me a fake number? Like, what the heck? I was so confused. So then I was like, whatever, that was weird. So then I think it was the next day, she messaged me on Facebook again. And she goes, hey, so what happened yesterday? I'm like, well, you gave me the wrong number. She goes, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. She gave me the right number, and then yeah, that worked out. And then we just kind of started texting, and I don't even remember how. I think it was you, because I remember being resistant to it. Like, I didn't want to get in a romantic thing, but. And like you kept like not kept, but you started to say certain things. I don't even remember exactly what, but it would be like I can't remember, but I remember one time. It's gonna be funny because just looking back at like our just teenage years, you know.
Yeah.
I remember there was this one time where you had said something about like you wanted cereal or something, and I was like. I think I said something like, well, if I was there, I'd get you some, just something simple. And you're like, oh, that's so sweet. You went so overboard with it.
I forgot about that.
And I was and in my mind, I'm like, I guess. But I was like, okay, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, to me, I was just like, oh my gosh, he's so thoughtful. He's so sweet. He's going to get me cereal. Like, he cares that much about me. And
in my mind, I'm just like, I guess, I don't know. And, but we just kept talking or just kept texting and stuff, and eventually we started to kind of like just get a little bit flirty. Not anything weird, but you could just kind of tell, you know. Like, all right, and then, also, by then you were not in our school anymore, huh?
No, I was the whole time that we were talking, I wasn't even in your school, but like the one that I originally started going with you to. Like I went to a different high school because if I didn't, I wasn't going to graduate with our original class.
Yeah, so that's what I saw that day that I saw her. She was leaving to a different school. That's why she was leaving, and it's kind of weird that stuck out to me. But anyway, so then we started talking and everything, and then we pretty much were like, well, do you want to hang out? Like, we're just texting a bunch, or we're not even like hanging out. So I think was it the day that we went to go watch the movie? Like, is that like did we end up going on a date, or was there something before that?
There was something before that. That was so we were talking for a while, like you said, and then we finally wanted to meet in person, and I suggested that we just like hang out after you get out of school, and then we both agreed that we would meet up at your school, so my old school, and that was our first time meeting up.
Yeah, I remember that now.
And at that point, we were already like messaging for a little while.
So by then, I'm pretty sure that we had already like decided like we're kind of into each other and stuff like that.
I think so too.
And yeah, so then we ended up meeting, and I was like nervous, dude. I was like, oh my gosh.
Too.
So I'm out there waiting, and then
my mom and my sisters want to drop me off.
Okay, well, we'll get to your side in a little bit.
Oh, sorry.
So then, she shows up, and like, okay, cool. So we're kind of like acting like, you know, like we both know that we're into each other. So we start kind of like, you know, we hug and say hi, and then we're kind of just walking around the school. And somewhere in our walk, I put my arm around you, and I'm like, this is kind of cool. And then I don't even know what we talked about. You told me about your parents, not your parents, your aunt and your grandma, that they had that like Puerto Rican food business thing. And then
how I was gonna leave for summer.
Yeah, and you were gonna go help with that and all of that, because that was out in Turlock and all of this. And oh, okay, well, I guess I won't be seeing you too much then if you're gonna be gone all the time. And she was, yeah. And then
we end up like that.
I know. Then we end up, you know, just kind of walking around. We sit down, and I don't know how it happened. I don't even know if we initiated it. All of a sudden, I'm just like making out with her.
Yeah, we were under a tree in the shade.
Yeah.
Which is so sad because we drive by that old high school and our tree got cut down years ago, and I'm just like, oh.
Yeah.
Like that memory was gone. Like it was right there.
And it's funny because like before, well, I mean, we'll still tell them now, but we would tell our kids, like, you know, we drive by, your mom and I had our first kiss under that tree, and then it was gone, and we're like, well, it was there. But anyway.
Just imagine a big, tall tree right there. Yeah, that's where.
But anyway, so that happened, and then you told me I wasn't a very good kisser, and I was like, sorry. I was just a bit much. But anyway, like, yeah.
Oh man.
Anyway, so
you're making me come off as like some crazy like person who's obsessed with you and be like very judgmental.
No, but anyway, so that happened, and you know, everything was cool. Like, I got my feelings for a little bit, but she's like, no, it's fine, it's so good. So you were really nice about it. But anyway, so then we keep talking, and eventually I'm like, hey, well, do you want us to be a thing? Like, do you want to be my girlfriend? And she goes, yeah. So then we do. And at that point, I'm like, you know what? Like, we got to be getting on the phone, too, and stuff. Like, I don't want to just be texting only. She's like, no, I don't want to be on the phone. I don't like my voice and this and that. And I'm like, you're not even the one hearing your voice. I am. Eventually, I convinced her to talk on the phone.
Well, except for when you would put me on speakerphone, like that stupid echo thing, you know.
But anyway, so we would talk. And that was really a big part of our relationship, because like I wouldn't see you at school. We started having dates a little bit more regularly, but not even that often until like later.
Well, also because we had to be like driven around a lot.
Yeah.
Well, actually, no. Wait.
Well, our first date wasn't like did we get dropped off or did we walk? No, we got
Your
dropped off.
mom came to the house, met my parents, dropped you off, and I forgot which one of my parents it was. My mom or dad. I don't really remember.
Your mom.
Was it my mom?
Yeah, because I remember your mom driving us around a lot.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. So she took us to the movie theaters, and then from there, after we watched the movie, which was The Vow, by the way,
Yeah.
I made him go see that.
Yeah.
And yeah, so we were just walking around, and then my mom ended up picking us up somewhere.
Yeah. So that's kind of how we started dating. And I guess you could tell your side of all that now.
Yeah, if you would like me to. Yeah, so like he said, you know, like around early junior year, like shortly after it started, I was told that, you know, I wasn't going to graduate and all this stuff, but they gave me the option to transfer to a high school that, you know, it was kind of like homeschool, independent study type of thing. You know, I made my own schedule. I literally went to school for only like maybe 4 hours a day. And if I did that, I would be able to graduate on time with our class, you know. And so I ended up doing that. So I left early junior year. And whenever, you know, the following year, you know, almost the end of junior year, I was actually in a relationship with somebody who was actually a grade younger than me. He actually ended up, shortly after we got together, he ended up moving down to LA.
Isn't that so weird that they both did that?
Yours was LA too? Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Anyways, so, you know, he did it at the end of my sophomore year, I think. So summer break, you know, I took a trip with them, and then after that trip, that's when they were planning for me to actually do like a weekend trip over to their house in LA, which honestly is really crazy how my parents allowed me to do that. Sorry. So after that trip, okay, I'm going to be real because obviously Miguel knows this, but I'm going to be real. At that trip, his parents did leave us home alone, and he was trying to pressure me into, you know, going all the way with him. You know, I don't know why it makes me feel uncomfortable to say the word, but and there was just something in my heart that just told me, don't do it. Just don't do it, you know? Like this isn't right. And I told him, and he was pretty upset, but he's like, all right, yeah, I guess I understand. And then I went home later the next day, and whenever I got back to my house, I told him, I was like, hey, I made it back safe. And then he's sending me a text. He's all like, hey, I just want you to know this isn't going to work out, you know? And I was like, are you serious? Is it just because of this? He's like, honestly, yes. And right after you left, I cheated on you. She gave me what you wouldn't. And man, I was like devastated. It was like, thinking back on it now, I was like, man, I must have been really dumb, because he was younger than me too. And he was just a kid, you know, to pull some stuff like that. But anyways, so obviously, you know, Miguel had his hurt from his, and then I had my hurt from mine. And then around that time, obviously I'm at a different school. All of my friends were at my other school. I was feeling lonely. All of my friends weren't talking to me as much. And so that is the reason why I went on social media. I started kind of just scrolling through my friends list and seeing who I talked to, who, like, you know, stopped talking to me. What?
Like you didn't know who I was.
I'm just saying. You act like I was, like, stalking you or something.
I mean, you kind of were.
It was not. Hey, mister, I didn't really post much.
Oh, you knew who I was, though.
I did, but not like the way you think I did. You're seriously making it sound like I'm a stalker. Oh, man. So I was going through and I found his name. And then I was like, I genuinely was reaching out, which he still doesn't believe me to this day. I was genuinely reaching out because I was lonely and I wanted a friend. it just so happened that, you know, it was a boy, so it made it look funnier. But I really wanted just a new friend because I was lonely. And at the same time, I'm like, I pulled up his picture and I'm like, dang, he's actually kind of cute though. So that was like, hey, that was a win. And yeah, so but yeah, like, you know, honestly, that's what it was. Like, it was just, I wanted a friend, but, you know, immediately I just realized, like, dang, he's kind of cute. So that's how the feelings started for me. And I feel like my feelings started probably a lot sooner than yours, for sure. But, you know, fast forward, you know, through all that stuff. Oh, yeah, and then the whole me giving you a fake number. Man, I felt so terrible, and I felt dumb because I actually pushed the wrong number when I was typing, you know, my phone number. And I was just like, wow, I can't believe I actually did that. And I made him think that I didn't really care. So thinking back on that is just kind of funny. And then, you know, what was it? The next thing was our first meetup, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So like I said, my mom and my sister, the one who I told everybody, you know, I told them because we all lived together. And my dad was, you know, a little hesitant. He's like, okay, you know. But my mom was like, you know, she was excited for me. And my sister, she was just teasing me, you know, just like older siblings do, you know. And so she insisted to go because she wanted to see what you look like. Because, you know, like, they dropped me off across the street from where you were, you know. And so the whole time she kept hounding me about it because, like, I was hecka nervous, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I was, like, sweating and I was, like, excited. I was kind of shaky and stuff. And I kept, like, looking out the window, trying to find you and everything. And it was just, like, she just would not stop. My mom's like, quit it, let her go. And then she's like, my mom's like, oh, wait, is that him? And I was like, wait. And I looked, and my mom actually found you first, which is
Well, it wasn't
funny.
that hard. Little skinny Mexican kid with long hair.
Wearing black.
Yeah.
There was only a few. I'm just kidding. But you know,
not like me though. All the other ones were like, they were like all
Colored.
scene kids and like with the swoop hair. Like I was just like super long hair, and that's
Your hair was longer than mine.
That was a crazy thing too. Little side note, but like in high school, I had this like weird thing about me that I didn't understand. That like people knew me, but I didn't know them, and
Yeah.
like I remember when like my sister came to high school, she made a bunch of friends because they're like, hey, are you Miguel's sister? And she was like, yeah. I'm like, oh, and they became friends. I'm like, who is this person? She was, oh, I don't know, because they say they know you. I'm like, what the heck? And there was just, I don't know, it was weird. People just knew me. I guess because I just looked weird. I don't know. People knew I was in the band. People knew I had super long hair and I wouldn't talk to anybody.
Yeah.
But I was nice. I wasn't like rude to anybody. Anyway.
Oh, actually, a little side note. How he talked about how we did know each other from a class that we had. I will always remember that because every time I was given like a paper to hand back to you, I would always turn around and I would see this kid with a stack of Pop-Tarts and either, what was it, milk or juice, like cartons on his desk, like 2 at a time. I remember that. I think you had like 2 of everything.
I think, yeah, I would do that. Because, you know, the breakfast, you got to like take one Pop-Tart thing and one drink. I was like, nah, I'd sneak a bunch.
Yeah, you would always have 2 of like both of those.
Because I was like, how am I going to get full off of one Pop-Tart? So I'd take like 2
it was a
packs.
packet of 2. What are you talking about?
That still wasn't enough.
So,
I used to steal a lot of food in school. I remember middle school. I don't know how it is now. It's been like ages, but like it was just easy to do that. And like I remember in middle school, I used to take like especially when it was like food that I wanted. Like when we would have these like chicken burger things.
Oh, those things are good.
And like I used to take these pants that had like huge pockets, or like a jacket that had like a bunch of pockets, and like I just start stuffing my pockets. Yeah, and then I would just, you know, like on my tray I would have just like my meal. But it wasn't all just for me though. I'd go back to the table and be like, who wants more? And I'd just pass it around.
Wow.
But anyway, yeah, I used to do that.
So yeah, I would turn around and I would always see him have, you know, 2 of everything, and he would always be asleep.
Yeah.
That was my memory of him, like, for sure. And then obviously, you know, like whenever we're doing assignments, like I would see him talking to another like friend that we had that was kind of like mutual.
Who?
Cornejo.
Oh. Yeah. Forgot she was in the class.
Yeah, because I always remember seeing you two partner together. I always remember that. But anyways, so that was just like, I'll always remember that. It's like I always turned around and that's what I saw of you.
Yeah. But I do want to talk about something real quick that I feel like this is a very good foundational part of our relationship, where because we had both come from like heartbreaks fairly recently, like at least me, I had like nothing to lose in this relationship, and I was just very like honest. Like when we decided to like start dating, I was like, look, I just came, like we were honest from the get-go.
Well,
like,
yeah.
Look, like I just went through this and this and that. It's like, look, I'm not trying to do anything. Like, if you don't, because like that was a big thing that the girl led me on a lot too. That she was like, at first it was like, oh, we're in love or whatever. But like later on, come to find out that like she wanted to like break up a long time ago, but she didn't because she was scared of like breaking my heart or whatever it was. So I'm like, how much of that relationship was a lie? So I was so like upset, and I just felt so stupid. So coming into this, I'm like, look, if you don't want to be with me, just tell me. You don't gotta do it. Like, I'm cool. Like we'll go our separate ways. Boom, that's it. But I like from the very beginning, I was like, look, honesty is foundational for me. Like,
Yeah.
that's the one thing that like honesty is one of the things I treasure the most. Like, if we're gonna date, cool, but we don't like, pretty much we went into it with like very open in a way, not open in the sense of like an open relationship and all weird, but like open in the sense of like, look, we'll do this, but if at any point we want to break up, let's just be honest and break up. No harm, no foul. We'll go our separate ways. At least we're being honest. I'm like, I would respect you so much more for telling me the truth. So I told her that, and I also told her like, look, because I know what it's like to have my heart broken, I'm not planning on doing that to you. Like, I'm gonna be as real with you. I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna be good. I'm not like, I know what it's like for someone to lie to me, for someone to go behind my back, all these things. Like, I like don't think that I'm gonna do that, because I'm not.
Yeah.
And
the same with me too.
And we
like,
just
how fresh it was for both of us, and how much it really did like hurt.
So we just came to that agreement that's like, look, I'm gonna be good to you, and if you don't want me anymore, just tell me and we'll break it off. Like, that's it. And even like, well, that was a big part of the beginning, where it's like, this is just how we're gonna start. Like right off the bat, this is just how it is. And we both agreed, and it was good. And even little things too, like I feel like right off the bat I realized that you were just, I don't know, like I didn't know what to do with the way you were. Like, I don't know, I just wasn't used to someone like you. And I feel like that's also why I got this like overwhelming sense of like protecting you.
Okay,
because
really quick, what do you mean by that?
Well, that's what I was gonna go. So
okay,
because I remember we were texting back and forth, and you had told me that like you had like a cigarette and that you were gonna smoke it or something. And I was like, what? And then you were like, yeah, I sometimes do, or whatever like that. And I was like, oh, and like that was just a big turn off for me. So I'm like, oh, well, like, I forgot what I said, but I pretty much made it known that like I'm not really about that. But I was like, we're so fresh into this, like I'm not gonna start telling her what to do. So like, what do I do in my mind, And like, you were just like, well, I mean, if you don't like it, I could just not do it, and that type of thing. I was like, oh, like, why? Like, I just wasn't used to that, like you yielding to what I wanted already.
Kind of how I was already taking your feelings, your emotion, like just everything that about you into account.
Yeah.
In consideration. There we go.
Yeah, I was like, because in my mind, I'm like, I don't want to be manipulative and controlling, but you were like offering it up willingly. You're like, well, I mean, if you don't like it, I don't have to. And I'm like, well, if you don't want to, you don't have to. Like, I didn't know what to do.
You're like, oh shoot, I wasn't expecting that. What do I do?
Yeah, but that ended up happening. You're like, yeah, okay. I mean, hey, I mean, I'll just get rid of it. And
yeah,
I was like,
I remember doing that.
And just seeing little things, like just, I feel like you were so honest and like vulnerable with me, and I wasn't used to that. I was very used to like people like I don't know, like I could just tell there was like a barrier between me and people, like mainly like in one-on-one conversations.
Like some people were kind of like reserved.
Yeah, even with like that ex-girlfriend too, like I knew that there was things that I wasn't allowed deeper into her thoughts or her whatever. And like coming into this with you, still so like it didn't take long for you to just like trust me. And I was like, I just felt like I needed to protect that. I just had this, like from the very beginning, I just had that feeling towards you. And in the beginning, I just felt like, man, this girl, like no wonder she got her heart broken. She's just so like she just wears her heart on her sleeve. She just so like, I don't know. I just felt like you were just very naive and like you just trusted too easily.
Yeah,
And
that's kind of one of my faults.
But then like, I mean, I guess, God knew who you needed too, because like I just felt like I began to kind of like protect you in that way,
Yeah.
And I just didn't want to like take advantage or like, and I don't even mean sexually. I mean take advantage of that,
Like emotionally.
yeah, like that innocence that you carried still,
Mm-hmm.
that like that naive, vulnerable side of you. I was like, man, I don't want anybody to hurt you. I don't want to hurt you. And then you would tell me all these stories of like how you were bullied like hardcore during like school and all of this. And I'm like, man, like I just couldn't picture these things.
Yeah, and that'll be a story for like another podcast later on down the road.
And like, so it was just this, like, you just had this, like, I don't know.
Yeah, there was a lot of hurt and everything, and even still then it's just like how easily it was for me to like fully trust in you, because I don't know, there was just something about you, like even if like the beginning of our relationship, even though that it started just by like messaging and texting and being on the phone, but I still felt that, I felt like a sense of safety with you. And then even more so when we actually really became official, and when we started being in person a lot more, like it got more and more confirmed for me, it was just, he's my safety. I just felt that, like, I just felt that comfort that, like, I didn't feel anywhere else.
And even though you didn't say those things, like, I could sense it. And it just gave me that, like, sense of responsibility of, like I don't want to hurt her. I don't want to, like, not only do I not want to hurt her, but I want to protect her. And, early on, you started telling me about all these things because, you've dealt with, a lot of things in your life, and you had, a lot of emotional damage with, that then led to depression and all these things, and like very low self-esteem and stuff. And
Yeah.
these were things that even back then when I knew nothing and I wasn't pursuing the Lord, nothing.
Mm-hmm. Well, we both weren't.
Right. But what I mean is, like, even in that place of like my infancy, so to speak, it like mentally and emotionally and spiritually, I was still making that effort to like try to heal you in a way. You would say things about yourself. I'm like, no, like, you're not that. Like, don't talk down on yourself. Don't look at yourself that way. Those things are not true. Like I would start to like, I just had that desire to like help you and to protect you and heal you and just all of that, and I feel like that was a big part of early on of our relationship, and maybe that's why you felt those things. And I feel like also like it was like it's the Lord's grace that didn't allow our relationship to turn into something crooked and dark, because that could easily go in, at times I did feel like it had gone in this place a little bit where, you could have easily just depended on me as this like almost like Messiah, almost like I'm your savior.
You're like the idol, like you're on a pedestal for me,
and where I do feel like there were seasons of that I noticed it, and I addressed it. I'm like, yo, I can't, like, I'm not that, you know. But I do believe that it's God's grace that He allowed this to be a part of our relationship without it becoming a dark thing, because it definitely could have gone in that direction, And it's funny because I feel like our relationship has always had this like back and forth of like, there's always been like a lot of good that was also mingled in with like bad and like hard. I don't want to say bad, but like hardship, you know? There was a lot of joy and happiness and all that mixed in with this darkness of like the heaviness of my problems and your problems and all of this. But the Lord just and I'm saying this now because I can look back and see it, but at the time we didn't know this. That the Lord was walking us through all this. Like we didn't know that. You know, we always said it was me and you against the world, you know? And we really meant that. And if anything, you know, the Lord eventually brought us to this place of like, yeah, it's us, but the Lord is at the center of this. You know, it's like I'm gonna fight for you like no matter what, you know, but it's all because God has brought us together, right? And the Lord corrected the things that we had got sort of right, but were kind of wrong. He's corrected that. And if anything, it's helped build our family dynamic where we were just literally talking to the kids about it. It's like our family, this Carmona family, we are to be set apart for the Lord, right? We are for each other, and the things that the world may do, like, because, you know, we do put rules and regulations on our kids, and it's like, they need to know, which is why I explained this to them today, but they need to know that this is not just because we're being strict or because we don't want you to do these things and we don't want you to have fun. It's like there are reasons why we live this way. And in this home, we are a Carmona family, and this is how we live because we live for the Lord. And you know what I mean? I try to instill this sense of like letting them know that they belong to something greater, you know? That we don't live for the world. We live for Christ. And it's not going to look the same as the world, but it's also because God has set us apart for something even greater than the world. Right? And I feel like the beginning of that for us, though it was not completely right, was that notion that we were always like, it's me and you against the world. You know, somebody would hurt her feelings, or somebody would hurt my feelings, or whatever the case was. We would always like be there for each other and support each other and be like, hey, look, just remember, I'm with you. Like, even if everyone else is going to leave you, I'm not going to leave you. And it's like, we're like, I'm in this for the long haul, you know, and it's me and you against everyone. Even if everyone leaves us, even if everyone is, whatever the case may be, like, it's me and you, no matter what, you know? Now, like, that's good that we support each other, but now we know that it's that the truth of Scripture is that even, right, what does the Bible say? It says, even if my mother and father abandon me, the Lord will never abandon me, right? So now that's the correct way to look at it, right? That He's the one that will never leave us, but He's also placed us to be one together, but that was further down the road. But anyway, I'm just showing how God began to, like, put things in our hearts, though they were still imperfect, but we began in these places of like, there was just something in there that God was allowing us to go through or to have, and it was rooted, it was like planted in our hearts, and it grew, and God just molded it to what it was really supposed to be. Like, He was like, okay, like, you're kind of right, but I'm gonna allow it because I'm gonna show you what the correct way is. I feel like that's the way that it was. But anyway, that was a big part of the beginning of our relationship, which is very much just like, hey, it's me and you, no matter what, you know? And that was a big part, even like in our arguments, you know, when we would argue and disagree on this and disagree on that, you were the one that was always more afraid that I was going to leave, that I was going to, you know, all of these things. I'm like, hey, look, I'm not going to leave. Like I told you, I'm in this for the long haul. Like, it's me and you against the world. Like, that's not going to change, you know? So I would reassure you a lot of these things. And it was a process for you to really begin to fully trust me, because even though I had some of your trust, there was still the part of you that was like afraid that I was going to leave. And that's where it wasn't so much a lack of trust in me, but it was more of a wrong view of yourself, right? We kind of touched about that last week, where it was like, you viewed yourself as not important, as not good, as not pretty, as not this, as not that. And like, you always felt like I was better, like I was this and I was that. And I feel like in your eyes, I could have just left you for anybody, because why wouldn't I? But on my side, it's like, that's not going to happen. Like that's not even in my mind. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that's where eventually the Lord began to work that out. And I feel like, there were things that I had to prove to you, not because you asked, but just because over time, I feel like you began to recognize, like, well, we've been together for 4 years. We're married. We're all these things.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's going to leave me. I feel like after so much time of me proving like I'm not leaving, I feel like eventually you started to believe that I'm not leaving,
Mm-hmm.
And even with that, our relationship moved pretty quickly, within that, because we started dating.
We started dating in March
Yeah.
of
2016?
12.
12.
12.
16 was the
16 is
wedding.
in marriage.
Yeah.
Yeah, March of 2012.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
And we were both 17 at that time.
mhm. And you turned 18 that November,
Mhm.
and that was, I proposed in secret.
Yeah.
Nobody knew that I proposed, and I told her right off the bat too. Like, I'm like, hey, look, I'm in this forever. Like, I want to marry you, like, forever. I was like, but I recognize we're still young,
Mhm.
and we don't have anything figured out, so we can't get married now. But this is just to prove to you that I'm committed forever, and we're gonna do this. So that was that, and the only people that knew, because after that we went to your birthday party, and were you even wearing the ring?
No, because excuse me, I had a bubble. No, because we talked about it. We didn't want to make it like known really until we both talked to my parents.
That's true.
Because you still actually wanted to make sure you had my parents' blessing.
Yeah.
Which that was a funny conversation too.
I know. Well, it wasn't it wasn't funny.
No, yeah, sorry.
Anything, just it wasn't until later that they told us what they thought.
Yeah.
But anyway, but I did end up telling my sisters. What's so funny is that my youngest sister, Rebecca, she went with me to go get the ring and all of this, and
the rose.
Yeah. What did I think I got you, if I'm not mistaken, I might be wrong, but wasn't it like 17 roses and then the 18th one was
the
golden one or whatever?
It was like a golden preserved rose.
Or was it just that one? I don't remember, to be honest.
I don't remember. I could have sworn it was.
I remember that rose for sure.
What you first said.
Okay.
I feel like it was all of those plus that.
But
the one you gave me with the proposal was that one rose. And then I think at your house, because I think we were going there.
I thought it was to your house.
I forgot, but I remember seeing more of them later.
Or something, yeah. But anyway, my sister, she went with me, and we went to the mall. We went, and she's the one that knew before anybody. I told her. And it's so funny because she was 7.
She was 7 at the time.
That's
yeah,
so crazy.
like that's kind of crazy to think about.
She knew. But yeah, so obviously she knew, and then I told my other sister, and that's pretty much the only people that knew. Other than like a couple of our friends, we told them that I proposed to you. But I don't even remember, to be honest.
I don't remember really telling who. I just remember your sisters knowing, and then shortly after we told my parents.
Yeah. So then I don't even remember how much longer.
Did you even tell your mom? Like at one point, did you tell your mom?
I had to have told her.
I was gonna say.
I just don't remember telling her.
I'm like just realizing it right now. Did you propose before even telling your mom that you were going to propose?
I'm pretty sure I did not tell her until after.
Oh, by the way, Mom, me and Elise are getting married.
I don't remember, to be honest, but yeah. And I missed this part. When we went on our first date, because when we first met at the school, she didn't know about that, because I would just walk home, and she was working. She wouldn't come home until later, right?
Weren't you waiting for... Oh, yeah, no, you did walk home. You guys didn't live with your grandma just yet.
No, not yet.
Oh, okay.
So, so she didn't know about that, and I wasn't going to tell her anything about a girlfriend or nothing. It's like, nah, so, not because I didn't trust her, just because I didn't want to just, I don't know, I was just very, like, secretive about my life, which is not a good thing. But anyway, but when we decided to go to the movies, I was like, well, I got to tell her I'm going to leave, right? So then...
you also needed a ride.
Well, I know, but what I'm saying is, like, so, well, that's what I mean. Like, I couldn't just wait. No,
you did live with your grandma, right?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, because...
So...
You were waiting for your grandma to pick you guys up.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, because remember, she used to pick up Becca first.
Yeah.
And she was waiting for a while, and then she came and picked you guys up.
That's true. Dang. Anyway,
Yeah.
my mom didn't know about that one. But then to go to the movies, I was like, okay, well, I can't just disappear. Like, she's gonna have to know. So I'm like, all right. So then I go to her room and I'm trying to be so chill about it. I'm trying to like be super casual. I'm like, hey mom, can I go to the movies? She goes, and right away she's like, huh? With who? I was like, dang it, she's gonna know. Because I'm like, I could have just, like, I don't know, like, even though I was secretive about my life, I wouldn't want to lie either. And I know they're very similar things, but I don't know. So I could have just been like, I don't know, just some friends. I could have said that,
Yeah.
but I was like, I'm not gonna lie either.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, just no. I think I did say I was like, just some friend. She was like, who? I'm like, just this girl. And she goes, a girl?
A girl?
I was like, oh my gosh, don't make it a big deal. She's like, really? I was like, oh my gosh. And yeah, so that's when she found out about that. And then yeah, that's when she took me, and well, not that day, but like then, she took me over to your parents' house and we met and all of this, and we hung out for a little bit.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I remember where you're going.
What?
Go ahead, say it.
About the table?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just
So wait, this time it was like still kind of cold outside.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
Yeah, so we were just, chilling at their house, and, her mom, well, I think my mom had already left, and her mom was like, yeah, I can make you guys some hot chocolate or whatever. I'm like, all right, cool. And, yeah, I'm, sometimes, I mean, I've gotten better. I'm 31 now, so hopefully I'm not as bad as I used to be. Anyway, but, yeah, I've been pretty clumsy with food in the past, and, yeah. So their first impression of me, that first day, we're drinking it and everything, we're hanging out, and I don't even know what I did, but I spilled pretty much the whole cup of hot chocolate on her mom's white like cloth thing for the table. I'm like, oh my gosh. She's like, it's okay. I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm so stupid. And it'll still come up sometimes in conversations.
It will occasionally.
I'm like, dang it, dude.
But my mom was genuinely like, okay, like she wasn't mad or anything, she understood that you were really nervous.
That's the case. I mean, that was the thing. I wasn't even nervous. I was just clumsy.
Shit, you were nervous. That's what it was.
I was just clumsy. I'm like, oh my gosh, dude. But anyway, I feel like we jumped around a little bit. But
we kind of did, yeah.
Anyway, we were dating and stuff, and yeah, so then, not even a year later, I proposed already.
Mm-hmm.
And then we ended up, and we would just hang out a lot at your house. We'd play pool and stuff. And anyway, so when we proposed, I don't remember how much later after that we ended up telling your parents.
Yeah, I think it was maybe like, I don't know, a day or two.
I don't remember.
I
But we
really
ended up going
remember.
in there. We're all like,
we told them that we had to talk to them.
Yeah, I feel like we were like two kids who got in trouble.
Yeah.
We're like, can we talk to you guys?
Yeah, because they were, my mom or my dad, I can't remember which one. They were in the front room, but the other one was in their room.
Yeah.
And I told my parents, I was like, hey, can me and Miguel talk to you guys? We just really want to talk to you guys about something. And like, I really don't remember which one I told that to. They're like, okay. And then they went to the room, and then they were back there for a little bit, and then they were like, okay, guys.
They called us over.
Yeah, they're like, okay, you guys can come back here now.
Yeah, but I mean, we had already been dating for a while, and
Yeah.
Oh, somewhere in there, like before all that, before the proposal and everything, that was all. Look, we also had that trip to San Francisco, where later on they told us that like it was very, it left a very big impression on them because you had this or have I don't know this condition, which is like some blood thing, the ITP and Raynaud's thing.
Raynaud's phenomenon. So pretty much, the Raynaud's phenomenon. Whenever it gets cold outside, or even if I'm in the air conditioning for too long, my feet and my hands, they go purple, and if it's severely cold, they go white. It's just a lack of oxygen, to those and stuff. And then
it's pretty much like frostbite, but like with
Yes.
any little thing.
Yeah. And even if like I like holding a cold drink for too long, that can happen, you know.
But it's not that bad anymore.
And yeah, it was worse. But the other one, which is the ITP, which is just like a low platelet count. And before we got together, you know, I was diagnosed with it, I think like, I don't know, 13 years old. I had to go to San Francisco a few times and actually get treatment because my platelets were extremely low, where it was like a safety thing, you know. And so I had to go to San Francisco a few times, sit in like a chair for like a few hours and get like an infusion. And then after that, I would be fine for a while.
What would they infuse you with?
I don't know. Man, it really kind of messed me up a little bit when I first went, because literally they had me in the same room sitting next to a cancer patient.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it wasn't just like a, oh, it's just for you guys kind of room. No, it was like you just sit with whoever's having, you know, something done. And yeah, I was sitting next to this person who was like really close to like dying, and it like really scared me when I was a kid, because my parents weren't allowed in the room. I was in there by myself, you know. But all I remember is when I looked at the IV bag, it was just a clear liquid. So I really don't know what it was. But whatever it was, I'm guessing they had medicine in it, because I was a kid. I didn't pay attention.
Right.
My parents knew everything. I didn't pay attention. I just knew, I was like, man, I was sick.
That's another thing too, that early on in our relationship, a big part of like what we would talk about was like, because of all that medical stuff, like you had this thought, this notion that like you were just gonna die.
Well,
you just believed that like you were not gonna live very long, and like that was a big thing, like a stronghold that I believe the Lord like delivered you from, because if it wasn't your fear of like, I'm just, you know, getting sick and I'm just gonna die someday, you know, like some
fragile person.
Yeah, if it wasn't that, it was that you were just terrified that one day I'm just gonna have Alzheimer's just because your grandma had it, you know.
It runs in my family on both my dad and my mother's side, and my grandmother on my mom's side. So my mom's mom actually did pass away from it.
But still, like,
and actually my dad's dad too.
We are not declaring that over you at all. Yeah. We are coming against that in the name of Jesus. But when I was younger, I didn't know about that. And so I was just like,
another reason why I did always fear that and have like a fear of like, you know, sickness and death and all that stuff is because my mom has lupus, which, you know, I don't really fully know that, but all I know is that my mom was always in and out of hospitals. She would always gain weight and then lose it extremely fast because of the medication she was always on and just the sickness that she had. Like, she would go from being like really super skinny to like overweight and then right immediately back to super skinny. It was just like a back and forth. That's all I saw my entire life. And then her in and out of the hospital, you know, always being in bed, always having to depend on medication. If she didn't have this medication, she was out for like almost a month, you know? And so like seeing that my entire life growing up and then hearing about the whole Alzheimer's thing and then literally having to witness and care for my sick grandmother, you know, and like watch her deteriorate in front of my eyes, like that really truly messed me up. And that's why, you know, coming into our relationship, that's why I had such a stronghold on me.
Yeah. And that's and like, you know, looking back now, you can just see like you could just see the hand of the enemy working against you. And it's like now that like we are, you know, living for Christ, like we come against those things, you know, we take authority in all of that, you know? But back then I didn't know anything. So I was just like, no, you're not going to die. Stop acting like you're going to die. Like I would just try to like convince you and like try to be encouraging and all of this. But yeah, it was a definitely like interesting. But anyway, we got on a weird tangent. Not weird,
really
but
kind of far off of that. San Francisco.
Right. But I mean, you know what? Hey, it's good though. This is part of your story. And this is the stuff that God has like delivered you from, because you're not sitting here still terrified that you're going to die at any minute anymore. You know, God has done so much in our life. So yeah, it's definitely important, because there could be people that are like terrified of, I mean, I know I went through that too one season of my life, where just being so scared that I was just gonna, oh my gosh, my heart is just gonna not be okay and I'm just gonna have a heart attack at any minute. So it's like, this is definitely stuff that people deal with. But anyway, that day, right, you were telling me that you had this trip to go to San Francisco, and it wasn't even for an infusion. It was just like a checkup. And
yeah, I was with like one of the specialists that I had to see like within that whole period.
yeah, so I was like, well, can I go? Because I was like, at this point, we were like all head over heels in love, and I was so concerned about her. So I'm like, well, can I go? Like I want to know what the doctor says. Like I was like concerned about her, and she goes, well, I can ask my parents. I'm like, sure. So then she did, and they're like, yeah, I guess. So then we went.
Like they were actually kind of shocked that you asked to go.
And the appointment was like not that long, but we ended up making a whole day out of it. We went out to that one fort that I don't remember the name of it, but it's right under the bridge, and we hung out, and it was cool. It was like a cool whole weekend thing. Years later, they ended up telling us that that was a very like big.
Was it around the wedding time?
I think they told us around the wedding time, yeah. But they told us that that day was like such a huge thing for them because they saw how much I actually cared about her, and they felt like, wow, he really does love her. Like he really did. Like it just left such an impression on them. But fast forward from that day to the day that we're going to talk to them about our wedding or about our proposal. You know, I pretty much said all this mushy stuff. I don't remember what I said.
I honestly don't.
But I was like, I love her. I want to spend my life with her. I forgot what I said.
I remember it was like, not making fun of you, but I remember it was like, it was pretty mushy. I talked a little bit. It was mushy too. I teared up, cried a little bit. My mom was over there tearing up and stuff. And my dad's just sitting there just looking at all of us.
Yeah.
My dad was like super serious. And then, you know, after all that, I don't think they told us then, but hold
on. Not yet.
Oh, okay.
They ended up giving us their blessing. Like, okay, yeah. Because we also told them like we know we're young, so we're not getting married now.
Yes.
But you know,
we were telling them that we had a plan, you know, get jobs and then, you know, do the right things.
Yeah. Well, we already had jobs by then, I think.
No, I think.
Yeah, I started working at Safeway at 17.
Oh yeah,
I was already working.
Oh, and I was working for the city. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right.
But regardless, we told them that we had plans to like actually like make a life together, not just get married right now, you know.
And then move in with whoever.
Right. But yeah, and even that too, like we don't recommend this plan for people now that we know, like now that we, you know.
We follow the Lord.
Right. Now that we've given our life to the Lord. But my plan at the time was obviously we were dating, then there was a proposal, and my thought was like, look, let's move in together for a couple years. And my logic was, one, this will teach us how to handle finances together. 2, we'll learn each other in a way of like, I get to see a side of her that I never saw before, and she gets to see a side of me that she never saw, right? We're going to find new issues, right? And basically this was like a trial run for me where I was like, look, we're going to live together. I don't know if we had planned how long already or if we figured that out later, but we ended up living together for 2 years. The second year we were planning the wedding already.
Yeah.
But for 2 years we were living together. And really, we'll get into the details in the next episode, but I'm just going to give you like the outline of the plan. But the plan was we're going to move in together and basically do a trial run. Like we're going to figure out our finances, figure out if we can do this, and 2, figure out our emotional differences, our character differences, all these things. And pretty much I was like, look, and if we cannot figure this out, we'll break it off. We won't get married. And there's no ties, right? Like we don't have any kids, we don't have any marriage. Like we'll go our separate ways, and that's it. Yeah. You know, we still had that thought of like, if it don't work out, it don't work out, and that's okay. And like I said, we'll get into the details later on in the next episode. But yeah, that was my big thing of like, I do not want to get married and have kids and find out that we have issues that we cannot resolve and we end up getting divorced. And now we got to deal with a divorce. And 2, what kids dealing with
custody.
Yeah, it's like, no, I'm definitely not doing that. So we got to figure this out now. And if we can't, separate ways, and nothing's tying us to each other. That was the plan. Then we ended up getting married and all that, but we'll get into that later because this is already a long episode. But yeah, that was basically the beginning. And there's so much more behind it, but actually not yet. Because at this time, as far as like spiritual stuff, you weren't even seeking the Lord. I was in this weird place of like, I still had some type of attachment, maybe emotionally, to like God because of my upbringing, but I was not seeking the Lord. I was definitely living in sin. And, but what's so funny, I remember telling you one day, we were already talking about, marriage and all that. And I remember, I don't even know what came over me to say this, but I was really feeling it all day. And I ended up telling you that night. We're sitting in the car and I'm like, babe, I gotta tell you, like, I know, like, we're not in this place and you've never showed any signs of this. I just feel like I gotta tell you this now. I was like, but I really hope that you never ask me to pick between you and God, because if you do, like, I'm not gonna deny God. Like, I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah.
And you were like, well, no, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, I just want you to know, like, I cannot turn my back on. You know what's so crazy? Man, I'm gonna cry. Like, it's so funny because the Lord has been taking me through this story of Peter where he tells Jesus, like, God, I'm gonna die for you.
Mm-hmm.
And then he denies Jesus. And then Jesus comes back and he's like, he restores him. He's like, do you love me, Peter? And it's like, I had a season like that. We'll get into that in the next episode.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm literally telling you, I'm not going to deny God.
Yeah.
I'm not going to deny him. And we move in and I deny him for like most of my 20s. And that's just like crazy how, like, now look at us.
Yeah.
And he restored me.
Yeah.
Not that I was doubting that I mean, like, obviously, like, I know his character now. Anyway, that was the first part of our relationship. And the second one is going to be us living together and what we learned there, and even my spiritual walk. And we'll just go from there. We'll just keep talking about our life and what God, because that's literally the whole point of this, right?
Yeah.
We're going to start there with what we know, with what we've lived, what God has done for us, right?
Mm-hmm.
What we can testify of. And then we'll just keep going from there.
Yeah.
So I hope this has been encouraging you guys and entertaining you guys with our child stuff. Like our childlike romance. I don't know. But yeah, so we appreciate everyone who's been listening.
Yeah. Thank you.
And I really hope that this just helps people, and just to see, how God works,
Yeah.
even though, there's always the right way to do something, but even in our flawed logic and wrong way of thinking, God is still faithful, and he does so much with the
Yes,
little
he
bit
is.
that we have.
Yeah.
So we'll talk to you guys on the next one. Don't forget to tell your friends and all your family and all the millions of people you know to come listen to this. All right. Bye.
Bye, guys.